So now we're back for part two, house rule number two. And this one's pretty simple. Working your trades and how you get players and how you get rid of them and how you move around in the trade market in your league. It's simple. It is simple. I only trade players, for the most part, who are in their contract year one. So anybody who contract is expiring next year, I try to shop them around for the most part, unless it's a stud. I'm not shopping around Trey Lance, right? But I did put some feelers out for Brandon Ayuk and Javon Kinlaw, right? You want to get an idea if maybe you can get something that's going to help your team in the long run. Some people are just invaluable. You can't trade them. But you try to trade players that you think people might like, who I think contract-wise, you don't have to re-sign them to a new contract. The reason why we do that is, if you look up on the screen, look at my penalty cap for this year. And for next year, which is really the important year, 0. There are way too many guys who play in 32-man online CFMs who are wasting money. Now, some people might say, well, you got $40 million in your cap. The hell are you going to do with that? It's just going to sit there. You might as well spend it. You might as well make a deal. Man, if something comes along and you need money, you don't want to be strapped for cash. You know what I'm saying? So in the video game world, it's nice. If somebody wants to sell, somebody who is just a player who's past their prime, making $25 million, but they can help my team, I'm always going to have that cash. I'm going to try. It's not 100%, but I'm going to try. Anyway, that's what happens when you don't have cap penalties. And the main reason why I trade players who are in their contract year is because that cap penalty is only for the current year. So if I get rid of Tomlinson right now, right, that penalty is $3 million for this year, but I already have 40, so I'm, whatever. It's going to balance out. I know the savings is 6.2. It doesn't hurt you for your re-signings for the following year. So let's be realistic, right? I'm going to re-sign Kinlaw. Nobody's going to give me a good deal for him. And same thing with Brandon Ayuk. These guys are asking for money based off of how the money that you have in the following year. And if I go look at what I have, I'm just going to be transparent here. I'm pretty sure I have a good amount of money. I'm always going to have in the $50 million range, unless I really get caught in a weird year, to sign people. So Ayuk wants a pretty penny. I have way more than 50 million. I got like 60, 70. I don't even know, because it's calculating how much will come out right there. But I know I have like at least 60 or 70 million next year. And that's a comfortable feeling. I only have 2 big guys to sign. So that all starts going back to, like I had said, when you make trades, try to trade players. In my opinion, this is my house rule. Now, let me go back on that. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not saying that this is the best way, because I do understand that if you have a guy who's a rookie, who's pretty good, all right, let me see who, all right, let me just go to, I know my free safety I like, right? I drafted this guy, Potter, right? 76 overall, nice player, star, right? If I didn't need him, because I did draft a guy a year before who was pretty damn good too, I can trade this guy, and I think people would really like having a guy under control for 4 years, only making $1 million a year. Oof, you should be able to get a nice trade piece. I don't think everybody, goes into negotiations thinking like that, but I would sell the hell out of that 21-year-old under control for the rest of the cycle. You got to give me more for this guy, right? But I want that, right? I got this guy in the, not in the first round, and I want that cheap guy playing for me. So that's what I try to keep in my contract, on my books. The only other exception would be if I trade a guy. I can trade a guy who doesn't have a bonus, who doesn't have a penalty, right? So these are guys that I've either developed because I took them in free agency and I took them for cheap and I developed them to be somebody. That could be it. Or guys that I've traded for, right? Joe Tryon, I traded for this guy a year ago. He has 2 years left. He's in a nice cheap contract for me. He's always on the block. If somebody wants a D-end who's a star, he might go on the block all of a sudden, right? Why? Because of the penalty. I don't have a penalty. I don't have to take and eat what I'm going to have to possibly pay people in the future. Now, this is my house rule. I know plenty of teams in real life don't even care about that. They definitely have penalties going into the future. I get it. But I'm not some capologist. I'm not sitting here trying to figure out. I can't predict what's going to happen years from now. I don't play the game that serious. That's a little bit extra. So I just try to keep my books clean, nice and neat, for a nice little sim CFM with my boys, and I just try to keep it neat and keep it moving from there. So that's my house rules on trading. I trade players who are in their contract year, or I trade players who don't have any penalty. Simple as that. Talk to you later. Peace.